So I just wanted to hop on today and answer a question that I've been getting a lot of either in the Facebook group or from our students in the program. And that question is, how do I find my first deal? So I broke it down for you guys in 3 easy to follow steps, and we'll take it one by one until you find your first deal. So the first step here is to understand who it is that you're calling or who it is that you're looking to get this deal from. And there are a host of options, but if I had to pick one, the one that I would go after are pre-foreclosure leads. Now, what is a pre-foreclosure? This is a homeowner who is 3 or more months behind on their mortgage payment. So from an investor perspective, this gives me insight to understand that this seller may be, facing some financial trouble, and this might be a good opportunity to make a deal. So typically, where would you find this sort of information, right? So back then, you can go to the county, walk into the records department, and request it. But because of COVID and now it's 2021 and we have the internet, there's a website you can go to, and that is called njlistpendants.com. There are other data providers such as PropStream or ListSource, but I like to get my information straight from the source or the county. So from there, what I recommend, it's slightly optional, but I highly recommend it, would be to organize all of this information in a sort of CRM or a bucket of sorts. And I'm not going to recommend one. Just know that you should have a CRM that you organize all your information so you can tag it, you can categorize it, and see when it is that you downloaded that information. It'll come into play in the long run once you've accumulated a lot of information. So that takes care of step one. Step two would be the conversation that you have with this prospect once it is that you get in touch with them. Now, there's a couple ways you can get in touch with them. You can give them a call, you can text them, you can email them, you can knock on their door, you can send them direct mail. You get the point, the list kind of goes on and on. But in short, there's a couple key points or key takeaways that we look for during this conversation. And we've summarized it into 6 letters. Now, those 6 letters are OAWMTC, and what that stands for is O in terms of mortgage information, A in terms of the asking price for the home, W in terms of the worth or the value of the home. Then you have M, which has to do with the motivation for selling. T stands for timeline in which you want to get the deal done. And C stands for the current condition of the property. That way we have a scope of work of what we would need to repair, if anything. After we understand that, we push for the appointment by saying, listen, we have Tuesday at 2 available or Wednesday at 4. Which time would work better for you? After you coordinate your meeting, you're on to step number 3. Step number 3 has to do with your presentation when you meet with the seller face-to-face. And there are 3 documents that we recommend you bring with you on this first appointment. Those documents are, 1, a standard purchase and sales agreement. This is going to bind both parties at the agreed upon purchase price. Then you're going to have your authorization to release. This document allows you to speak to the bank on behalf of the seller to confirm that the mortgage information that you guys were talking about is indeed accurate. And lastly would be a seller's checklist, which is a document I leave with them at the kitchen table, which states some of the line items in which we'll be requesting throughout the process. For example, bank statements, keys to the house, driver's ID, etc. From there, you've successfully found your first deal. You're likely going to want to connect with a seasoned investor so that you can learn how it is to disposition the deal. And what that may look like is wholesaling or assigning your rights to another party. You might want to raise private funding to hold this as a rental. You might want to go ahead and do the renovations needed and then list it on the market for maximum price. And all of these are great options. You really wouldn't know until we're analyzing a deal in real time. But after you found your first deal, or if you have any questions along the way, text the number right here on your screen so that myself or someone from my team can get in touch with you, and we'd have no problem walking you through your first deal.